And welcome to the Glacially Musical Podcast. It is beer, metal, swearing, and vinyl. Of course, I am Nick Cameron of Glacially Musical. I am joined by my good friend, a man with a hat on his head who's always ready, Keefy Contestable. How are we doing today?
I'm all right, man. How you doing?
I apparently am screwed up. It just takes one little thing anyway. Uh, Glacially Musical beer of the... Oh, I'm sorry. If you're here for our continuing series on Obituary, thank you very much. I'm actually, during my research today, I was kind of actually surprised to see how popular this particular record was. And we'll discuss that more when we get closer, when we get to the meat of the episode. As we all know, it is the beer check, vinyl check, shirt check, news check, meat of the episode. And the Glacially Musical beer of the week this week is Lagunitas something something IPA. It is smooth and silky. Pop. Could you hear that pour?
Indeed, I did hear that pour. That was a very good pour. I have not a beer, but I have a sparkling lime drink from Trader Joe's. But guess what? I'm going to drink it out of. I got a special receptacle today. Mm-hmm. I got a vintage White Castle mug, coffee mug from Goodwill. It was not gross. I was able to wash it out by hand and then again on the dishwasher. And look at this. It's the White Castle system crest. And, you know, Don Delamont, our recent guest co-host, had White Castle in New York City, which made me nostalgic for those stomach-crippling burgers. Cheers.
Do you not have them over there? Cheers.
We do not have White Castle in California that I know of.
Well, I guess that's why Mike D said he'd fly a fat burger when he's way out west.
The nearest one, look at that effervescent sparkle, the nearest one I was able to have was Vegas.
The nearest one to me is... close enough that even if I walked it home, the fries would still be hot.
I know. We had it. We didn't have it. I had it when I was at your house. I needed a food, and I treated myself.
That's right. White Castle's delicious.
They are fantastic.
So moving on to my vinyl check. My vinyl check, I got a 1 for this week, and I am throwing the system a miss. Today, I was helping the family. Tomorrow is my birthday, to be clear. Tomorrow, as we record this, we're recording early. We're recording on December 22nd. Typically, we would be recording this on December 25th. But I'll probably be too drunk from dealing with my family by showtime for us to be able to go. So, Keefy suggested we record this today. Tomorrow's my birthday. Today begins the celebration of said birthday. Wife and I are going out for drinks and fun, and then tomorrow, Kiddo and I are driving to Columbia, Missouri for records and pizza. Taking the wife's car because my little Leaf is not going to get to Columbia and back. It's 99 miles each way. That'd be a long-ass trip. So they decided to give me one of my birthday presents early today. And I think I kind of earned it because as I am literally got my hand in sludge in the sink because we have not been keeping up with... the dishwasher because we got issues going on with the damn thing. So they started singing happy birthday to me and hiding the gift. So all I could see was my wife and like half of my daughter because she was like hiding the gift behind her around the corner. And they pulled out a rectangular package. And what I got today was The Doors live in Detroit 4-disc set, the longest Doors concert that was recorded.
Was that the Record Store Day thing that just came out?
Yes, this was the really Record Store Day release.
And they'll be able to find it and get it for you. That's amazing.
The kid and I ran into it last week, and I explained why it's the kind of gift for me that's perfect, because it's something I would really like, and it's something I will not buy for myself. The vast majority of the songs on this album I already have on other Doors live albums, because they were not shy of releasing live albums, which I love. But this one, I gotta say, I almost feel like we need to do an episode on it because it's such a good release. I didn't know Jim Morrison months before his death could still sound this good.
So maybe the Chaser after next?
Could be. Yeah, because our next
chaser.
chaser.
Delay the next chaser, but that doesn't make a lot of sense to do.
No, it doesn't make any sense. Yep, but it's
unless
4
your
discs.
vinyl doesn't show up because of the holidays.
It's supposed to be here tomorrow.
Just in case.
The only problem with this is it does not come in the inlays, or does not come in the mylar, so I'm going to have to coat those up. But normally I would hold this for later, but I just felt like this would be a cool one to talk about. It's on Electra and Rhino in the Bright Midnight series. The Doors were, as far as I know, the first band to start an archival series of officially released concerts. This was the first one, but it was never released on vinyl. It came out in 2000.
Well, I'll be damned. First things first. First of all, and happy birthday in advance, although in retrospect, people are going to hear this after your birthday. It is also Christmas week, if you're celebrating. That's cool. It's
not Christmas until after my birthday. That's
also
the
Hanukkah and Kwanzaa this week, if you're celebrating. And it is also the birth of the most important person ever to live in metal, Lemmy Kilmister, and also the anniversary of his passing after
I thought you were going to say Peter Criss.
No, Peter Criss's birthday did just pass. I'm very thankful for you, buddy. I'm glad it's your birthday. You rule. It's a much more important holiday to me than any others. So I have, as I predicted in the last episode, a 3-4 for the last few weeks of the year, so I could get to my 2024 releases finally. A couple of cool ones here. I have not the newest album by this band, but a very cool album by this band. This is Fever Dream by Grumpster, the Oakland emo punk band. They are awesome. They have a new self-titled album that came out this year. Probably my favorite punk record of the year, beside Green Day and a few others. Just like pop punk, not hardcore. And then look at this beautiful, I don't know what you'd call this thing. Lily pad.
Mint green.
It's kind of minty. But it's also got like a weird...
That is mint julep. That is a straight up mint julep.
It's got a cloud swirl thing in it. So that is one.
Look, you give Bones 5 minutes in the South, and he's going to be drinking 4 mint juleps.
Fair enough. I have talked about this artist before. This is the electro dance industrial metal artist Kanga. Under glass. She's wearing a glass brassiere, laying on a pane of glass in the artwork. And so the scheme for this album was orange and blue. So here's another fancy vinyl. Just gonna depart these all. That's like a clear, translucent blue. Pretty nice.
That's a nice one. Same color as my Merciful Fate. God, I want to say Return of the Vampire, the Demos album, which you lambasted me for purchasing.
It's not that good. And then finally,
It has 2 or 3 really good songs.
Another previous podcast discussion and definite podcast 2025 series without fail. This is Royal Thunder and their comeback album, Rebuilding the Mountain. I purchased this from them at their show opening for Alice in Chains in Reno. This is amazing. They have already had another lineup change since this album came out. They're like, we got our whole lineup back. Our original. Nope, not anymore. But it's okay. They still have Josh and they still have Melanie, so it's... I feel bad for Evan, but he just can't make it in the band with them. And then it came on this interesting, pristine, white vinyl. Like cream in
White
your coffee.
vinyl is it's a real mind slip. Because you look at it and it's not right.
Incidentally, they always have very good and distinctive artwork on these Royal Thunder records, as you can see here. Mm-hmm. And then like the front label has kind of an interesting color scheme that mirrors the color scheme of the front of the album. And then there's this weird psychedelic side B with no description on the label, but like so it's like the white with the weird psychedelic label. Love Royal Thunder, love Melanie Parsons. Need to do a series.
Isn't it Mindy?
Them. What?
Isn't it Mindy?
Melanie. Not. She spells it like MLNY.
I know she does it like Lizzie Hale, like a weird thing.
Well, she was before Lizzie Hale, and she's.
I know. I'm not
Hale.
saying anybody is ripping off anybody else. I'm just saying it's a similar concept. It's unfortunate that Royal Thunder has headlining shows.
They should be huge. Well, I think we'll talk about them when the series comes. I think they made like a very specific choice to not be a headline band, to play in front of as many different new audiences as possible. I would love for they do like very limited runs. Melanie has actually been doing a solo acoustic guitar tour, doing some originals, perhaps for a solo record, as well as Royal Thunder songs. Which
I believe I've only had maybe one or two opportunities to see them. Should point out, by the next time we speak, I will have seen Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band again.
Nice.
And the Hoot and Hollers.
The Hoot and Hollers, I missed them. They were not that far from my house, but I just could not.
You should have gone. You would have had a good time. Let's go ahead on into, let's see, the shirt check. Oh wait, no shirt. No, it's news then shirt. Vinyl, beer, vinyl, news, shirt. So the big news of the week is Finn McKenty has done the ultimate heel turn and come out and says he hates us all. And he hated everything he's been doing and just made money doing the punk rock MBA. And I heard that and my brain just went, what? I mean, I'm almost assuming that's not even true. Because it's just so insane. And that's my thoughts.
Incidentally, you may be having some video issues again, so you may have to run something in the background to prevent that from happening.
I got it running.
Oh, you seem like you have some issues going on there, screen-wise. But, yeah, so I did a video. I've been doing a lot of live streams on Ghost Cult, and I did a video on Finn McKenty, which has done pretty well. When I threw my former podcast partner from my music business podcast completely under the bus. Don't give a shit. I think this whole thing, so first of all, like what people don't know is I used to work with Finn McKenty back in the day. He was a blogger before he was on YouTube. And when he was a blogger, he was known as Sergeant D across Metal Sucks and Metal Army America, which is what I worked at and ran before Ghost Cult. And he's wildly intelligent and successful at marketing. He's actually a marketing professional. That's what he does for a living. Not YouTube, but YouTube made so much money that he felt obligated to do it. I think that entire interview is actually just a troll. As we have discussed, Juan Soto spurned the New York Yankees to go to the New York Mets. And the Yankees have already made a bunch of moves that have made them a much superior team, including stealing away the Cardinals' first baseman and going to trade for their third baseman, which I'm really excited about. So we have a better lineup, already a better pitching staff that lost the World Series to the Dodgers. I think the Yankees will be a shoo-in to get back there and win. The Mets will not because they're the Mets. But the thing is that Juan Soto needed to say, like, he didn't want to say, well, I took the most money. That's what my plan was, to take the most money. Didn't matter where I went. But what he said, like, the Yankees didn't treat me like family. They don't know how to treat people. Then he walked that back because they were like, yeah, bro, that just doesn't make sense at all. So I think Finn McKenty did the same thing. He did this interview with Jesse Lee, who's kind of like an influencer in the music space. A really good guy. And he was like, oh, I hate music. I hate music and I hate music fans. And I hate neckbeard metal people. And everything I did was a troll. And I wasn't I think he was legitimately burned out. He did a video like 7 months ago. He never did a goodbye video. But he left YouTube in the first place, right? He left YouTube. We just didn't figure it out till now. Which is how much this shit doesn't matter. Including what I do. But, he did a video like I'm burned out. Whenever I've tried to do different types of things, you guys don't like it. I tried to talk about different genres of music I really like. Can you mute yourself when you're not talking? Thank you. He was like, I don't enjoy this anymore. And I walked away. I made my financial goals, which, by the way, I did a low ball estimate of just what he earned from social media. And really, it's only YouTube. I can't really account for his second channel, his Twitch, or his podcast, which were all monetized, and his Instagram, which was monetized. Just his YouTube, he made $1 million the last 3 years. I'm just lowball guessing, based on some data I have.
That is insane.
So, like, why would you keep doing it if you were miserable and you made $1 million and you have a newborn baby at home with your perhaps creepily young wife? So why would you? I don't care. I don't care about his personal shit. I think he was always kind of like a very right-wing guy. He's kind of a cop energy, bootlicker energy, a guy who would narc you out to a cop even if he was your best friend. He himself has got a long history with, issues. and now looks down on people with issues like he's better, which is like a terrible fucking take. But his takes on the music culture and metal culture and punk rock culture were very good on YouTube. His previous iteration of this same content he's been doing for like 15 years. I think that's when he's been doing this same kind of content, trolling people about their tastes and making a profit off of it since 2009. So, you know, you have been burned out from doing this stuff. I have been burned out from doing this stuff. Podcasts are like the most enjoyable thing that I do now, to be honest with you.
It's the only thing that I have any passion for anymore. I enjoy writing now, writing for you.
I have many things for you to do in 2025, a lot of retrospectives and fun things.
It's kind of like what Trey Parker said about working for Despicable Me. He's like, wait a minute, all I have to do is show up and make funny sounds out of my mouth hole? And then I go home?
And he made a mint.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I want to do this all the time. And that's the thing is I can just go in, I can put my thoughts down and not have to worry about clicks and kicks. And if I don't get enough clicks and kicks, you won't ask me to do it again, and that's fine. And if I'm getting enough, you'll ask me, and I don't have to worry about just pounding the pavement and trying to get these guys to share shit. And I get it. Burnout is real. And for me, I burned out on music blogging in, I think it was I can't remember if it was end of 2020 or beginning of 21. 2020 was a really, really awful year for everyone, and it was an especially awful year for me. Just a lot of very serious personal things that happened. And I just got big timed by a band. And at that point in time, I had been wembling back and forth. I'm like, I'm working really hard at this. I'm not making any money. And I'm not that I was like looking for thousands upon thousands of dollars or anything, but it's like I'm putting my heart and soul into this, and I'm having super major stress, and these guys can't even bother to share it on their Facebook page. And I'm like, why am I doing this? And then the big time hit, and I went, you know what? I'm just done. The last review I did on Glacially Musical was in 21 for Clouds Taste Satanic. Steve Scavuzzo sent me a copy of Cloud covered on vinyl, and I did a review of that and an interview. And I've had Steve on this show twice, and at least once on my other show as well, on the Department of Metal Antiquities. And I like that. You know, people show up, and when they put more into it, they're a lot more likely to help get the word out. And you know, I feel like that's just kind of where the business is going.
Let me just say a few last things about Finn. If you guys want, I'll link my podcast and live stream about the topic about him. We did like an hour and a half. People have been I've been doing live streams every day. It's actually it's actually what I enjoy the most. Omar calls me pontificating Keefy, but that's really what I enjoy the most is bullshitting about this stuff. But I'm doing research for every one of these things. I'm not just going on and, you know, again, if I had really wanted to make, you know, people who have never discussed this guy are getting like 100,000 clicks. So we're still all living off of his fumes. And I wanted to say, like, his content was so good, he definitely moved the culture of music coverage for all of us. And he predated and presaged, if you will, the reaction video people. And he became one, which he didn't like either, but he did them. And Ghost Cult, we used to run stories. It was good content. People were interested in him. So we'd be like, Finn McKenty, the punk rock MBA talks about how Slipknot got so big. And like people, the punk rock MBA talks about why rock is dead. So like I also showed myself that like I also utilize this guy as a topic of discussion, his content to discuss to make my content. It's not a good cycle. I understand it. It's you know, I don't want to say it's clout chasing, but it's like, we all did it. I saw someone else do it. Metal Injection was doing it. Lambgoat did it. I did it because I'm trying to keep pace with them. It's impossible.
What drives me insane is that somebody that can come out and say, yeah, I hated Elvis and I hated all you, and where there's thousands, millions of other people that really love this stuff. And
right.
They're scraping the barrel.
A lot of people loved the stuff he did. And he had like a very bullying, trolly modern internet personality trait, right? That people have picked up on. So like, And he says, so he's not going to completely, he says he's going to eventually delete his channels, but by the way, it's passive income, bro. Even if you hemorrhage subscribers because people are mad at you now, and the internet is mad at him, right? They're all mad at him for this. I think this is just his reactionary way of just flipping people off one last time. I wouldn't cancel the channels because it's passive income. You just make money. Like if I said if a band he covered puts out a record tomorrow, let's say A Day to Remember, the metalcore band, they put out a new song tomorrow before Christmas, his channel's going to get people finding his videos for that band because of search, the way search algorithms
Right, and that's why our Red Hot Chili Peppers series did so much better a year and a half after we recorded it.
Because they put out records, and that's what happened. Even though those records are dreadful, and you have both of them.
They are not dreadful. They are old man Chili Peppers.
I talked about old. Rick Rubin in a recent podcast, and I was like, he worked with System of a Down, and he also did the worst stuff the Chili's ever did, but it's put him in the Hall of Fame.
Did some of their best stuff.
He did some of their best stuff.
You cannot, I don't think anybody can deny that Blood Sugar Sex Magic is their magnum opus.
It is. And I love One Hot Minute also.
So do I.
As do you. So a couple of quick other news items. We had the passing of Casey Chaos this weekend. Casey Chaos of Amen and Christian Death. Was a Roadrunner hardcore punk band, really, along with Accused and Nirvana, helped a resurgence of punk in a way, different times apart, but just kind of that same kind of, like, hardcore was never dead or over, but like in mainstream sense, it kind of didn't have, Suicidal Tendencies went thrash, Misfits went thrash, and horror punk and thrash, and so like Amen came along and they were opening for Machine Head and Cold Chamber and Slipknot at the height of nu metal, and they were a punk band. Casey Chaos, there was some debate about how old he was. I think the record label gave a press release that announced his passing and said he was 54. Wikipedia says he's 59. I think he's 59. Just a bummer. Ruth McArdle, who is the second lead vocalist of Lords of Acid on their classic Voodoo You album, which saw them catapult to the global stage, died. Don't know her age or cause of death, but there were many tributes to her. I wanted to show the Lords of Acid album cover for Voodoo You, but that's the one with the awesome cartoon devil babes who are naked. You cannot show even cartoon or an illustrated nudity on social media anymore. You will be flagged or canceled or deleted or have your account canceled. It's happened. Yet on X, there's like literally sex acts. It's crazy. And soon to be Blue Sky, but
Blue Sky. I'm getting a lot more followers of the OnlyFans variety.
Yeah, it's just part of social media today. It's just this.
Well, remember when Twitter started? We all got the Britney Spears naked profiles. Well,
she's still doing she's bugging out on her account. I'm really worried about her.
I'm talking about there was it was a spam thing where everybody would get followed by Britney Spears profiles that had Britney Spears nude photos.
Okay. As
their profile. It was constant for like 2 years. As for Britney, I hope she is happy and gets all the help she requires. Cause,
I know she had a tough time.
I forget who said it.
Putting new music out, but I know she's had a bad couple of years. But just Jesus, man.
I forget who said it, but basically somebody said that becoming famous as a child is basically abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And what?
Her family abused her parents, and especially her dad abused her. And I understand she's still not over the conservatorship bullshit. Still a thing.
Still?
Somewhat.
Let's not.
Well,
let me just say, your microphone sounds phenomenal.
I know. I'm never touching it again.
Where did you get that idea to get one of those Blue Yetis?
I didn't have this idea at all. Omar Cut This got it.
Oh.
Because my other one shit the bed, even though I loved it.
That other one looked way cooler than this one. This
cool.
one looks like it looks kind of like a wang doodle.
It's like a big wang. It's like
a chubby wang doodle.
Hustler humor cartoon wang doodle with a white head and a shaft.
And a chubby pink shaft. Now, whereas mine is black.
BBC Nick Cameron videos. Anyway, last bit of news, and this is a difficult one for me also. Alice in Chains, along with many, many other bands, have been implicated, and this is not a new story, in basically a lot of bands were allowed to apply for the Small Business Administration's COVID relief loans
The PPP
the
loans.
PPP loans, but there was also a grant that was a small business grant for bands. Many bands signed up and took advantage of it. There's some conjecture about whether it was a loan in name or a grant. It's also been referred to as the SVOG grant. And the grant, if it's a grant, there's no expectation of what to do with the money and never to pay it back. But if it's a loan, the word loan implies it's due. You are accountable for what you spend it on, and you have to repay it.
Except the PPP loans were forgiven for everyone as long as they used them, quote unquote, appropriately.
Well, that's the thing. So,
which I wonder if all those billions into the economy kind of pushed the inflation forward. I don't know, just an idea.
Yeah, just a thought. So this is not a new thing. I've been flagged. I did a video on this also on YouTube. I did an article on this on Ghost Call. I did an article on Finn McKenty.
We chew our food twice here.
Sometimes. Or 3 times. Some of these, I definitely have checked Kanga and Royal Thunder on Ghost Cult stuff. On my other podcast, The Weekly Ritual. So, every year, Rand Paul is... Rand Paul...
sees his shadow and promises another 6 weeks of governmental gridlock.
Rand Paul, like his father, some of the most detestable human beings to ever live and be in politics. Every year he does his Festivus airing of the grievances, where he talks about waste in government and all the committees he's on and all the things he's called out. Dude, did you do anything to fix it or help? Oh, no, not at all.
No, he did not.
So, because his dad was the guy who said, I was in, like, similar to Bernie, again, a major gripe of mine with Bernie and the Bernie bros. I've proudly been in politics for 50 years, and I haven't barely ever passed a law. Yo, that's your fucking job. Anyway, so I went real ham on Rand Paul on this Alice in Chains video, and so much so that YouTube has flagged me. I was like, I just want to punch his fucking face. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said it on this podcast. We're fucked. Anyway, so he does this report.
I got in trouble for siding with Rand Paul's neighbor a few years ago.
Okay.
You don't know that? You don't remember that story?
I barely remember that story. Let's not do it now.
I'm not going to talk about it.
He shares his report a year ago. Slipknot, Shinedown, Alice in Chains, a bunch of rappers, a bunch of metal bands, a bunch of rock bands, all took these loans. And he feels like this is egregious. Regular citizens didn't have access to these loans. Small businesses, many of them were rejected for these loans, but these entertainment companies were given these loans. But really they're grants, to be honest with you. They're not meant to be loans.
Right. Okay. They're not properly loans. They're
when you take
loans.
Money from the SBA, the Small Business Association, I know because we've applied for a loan for Ghost Cult, they're like, yeah, no, we're not going to give you a loan for this. What? Because we can't show that we've ever made money. We make money, but we can't show a profit and a P&L that's proper. So, just to be real, just to keep it real. Anyway, still a volunteer operation, basically, after 12 years, Ghost Cult. But, so, this report, a Business Insider, who I consider to be pretty reputable, because I used to work in finance, and I've worked in business, and I respect them, and I've used them in the PR world, in the corporate PR world, I've used them as a tool for my clients, and they did a follow-up on this, on what people spent the money on, and it's robbed the taxpayers for this thing. That's not accurate, because there's no money. When there's appropriations like this, like programs like this that are passed into law, signed into law by Donald Trump, President Trump, number 45, originally pitched by Chuck Schumer. I don't like him at all. Want him gone. All these boomer politicians need to go, like Glitch McConnell.
Completely agree.
Need to be gone and reset the whole. Pull out the cartridge from the Atari, blow in the cartridge, put it back in, continue to play Pitfall. And so, and to me, Pitfall is Indiana Jones. To me,
was that not what it was?
I thought so.
I mean, it was
hate snakes. Anyway,
it was Temu. I mean, it was Wish.com Indiana Jones.
Did you ever see? There's a great,
or Spirit Halloween. It was Spirit Halloween Indiana Jones.
Yeah, there's a great YouTube clip going around where Mark Hamill is on a late night talk show. I think Conan or one of the other ones, and he does a Harrison Ford impersonation. And then they show it to Harrison Ford later on, and he's like, yeah, that's pretty scary. He's good at me. He's good at doing me. But he's like, oh, they're doing the trash compactor scene in the original A New Hope, episode 4. And Luke is like, what's my motivation for this thing? We're in a trash compactor. I was just underwater. Why isn't my hair wet? We shot this out of sequence. And Harrison Ford goes, kid, it's not that kind of movie. No one's going to be looking at your hair. Like, it's so good. His accent is...
I've heard of that.
His impersonation is so good. I mean, they're buddies. He worked together on movies with him, like they're friends, right? But, like, it's so good. I can't even do it justice.
Do you think Mark Hamill wishes he had some of that Harrison Ford money? Because, I mean...
Yeah.
How did Harrison Ford be the only person to walk out of Star Wars and just become a billionaire?
Well, he's been in a bunch of other franchises that are huge.
Right, but
and
not
also
before
Mark
Star
Hamill,
Wars.
By the way, is no broke dude. He's been...
Oh, I know.
His voiceover work has actually been in the hundreds of millions.
Yeah, his voiceover work, like him on The Simpsons.
Yeah, Batman, the animated series.
Yeah, he did the Joker.
Simpsons, he was the Joker.
Yeah, him doing
the
Mark
Joker.
Hamill as Nathan Lane in Guys and Dolls in The Simpsons as Luke Skywalker was like one of the greatest meta things I've ever seen.
He's great. He's just great. But anyway, to finish the story, so this report comes out. And as a result of this report, so Alice in Chains made like, so the law was passed and not everybody claimed the money. It didn't come until much later. So listen, like 2 years with no income. 2 years before the pandemic, Alice in Chains releases Nick's favorite Alice in Chains record, The Devil Put the Dinosaurs Here. And during the pandemic, they put out Rainier Fog, but they were not able to tour on it. And so this is a band that probably makes tens of millions of dollars a year as a touring band in festivals and headline tours and stuff and merch. And when you're not on the road, you can't sell anything. And they didn't.
They're
do much.
one of the bands that can still headline arenas and amphitheaters.
Yeah, I think amphitheaters and theaters, not quite.
Okay,
arenas.
big theaters.
Yeah, I'm surprised Metallica didn't take them out. They're best friends with Jerry.
They've taken Jerry out.
Lars, not in a long time.
Yeah, but I'm not saying lately. It has been
surprised that they weren't considered for the arena tours. But
probably they expected them to pay to play.
No, not at that level.
No?
Nobody that's on those Metallica tours is paying. Not even Ice Nine Kills, which is hard to believe because they have huge management. So that's why they get on.
They
get
were
offered
so
those
terrible.
things.
So
They were fucked terrible. So the real rub, I'm not that upset. So Alice in Chains takes the disbursement of the money in 2022, and then a month prior to taking that money, which was about like $3.5 million, Jerry and Sean got most of it. Inez got a little bit less, and William maybe got a tiny bit. But then a month later, they sold the rights to their music to Roundhill Music, their rights. They sold their rights for
didn't know they had done that.
I didn't even remember that they had done it for $50 million. The estates of Mike Starr and Lane sold theirs to a competing company for a lot less money. So it's like, why did they take this money if they also were selling their rights a month later for $50 million? But I'm going to tell you that like the corporations, Alice in Chains Inc., that is the touring company, Alice in Chains, whatever their publishing arm is, Alice in Chains, the merch arm, might all be different corporate entities with different bank accounts and different entities to pay different people out. So
it's worth noting that a major touring recording band is like a Japanese corporation. Yeah, Yamaha makes motorcycles, pianos, and they also have credit cards,
keyboards.
I mean, they are so diversified that it's just all over the place.
Medical gear. But so here's the real...
Medical gear?
Yeah, the medical equipment. Here's the real rub. I don't have a problem that they took the money even after they were going to sell their rights because they applied for the loan, they were approved the loan, they took the money, whatever. What happened, though, as the same time this happened, their longtime guitar tech and photographer, Scott Dokarodin, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, was diagnosed with cancer. And the band had taken some heat because they shared the GoFundMe for this guy, and they necessarily didn't donate to that GoFundMe or give him any of the money. The loans were supposed to be going to your staff, to your touring crew to keep them on retainer. But again, this money didn't get paid out until much later. So it's like Alice in Chains took criticism from their own fans at that time, like, oh, it made it look like, I think they were overreacting. Oh, it looked like you did the GoFundMe, his family did. Okay. and they maybe helped connecting him with like Sweet Relief or whatever, but they didn't really give him a payout. And he was with them for 15 years, and then he died right after this. So that looks not good. Not good looks for a band that I love as one of my top 3 bands. Very unethical and very bad looking. The fact that they took the money, they were detailing what these rappers spent the money on. Like Lil Wayne threw himself $1 million birthday party. He got $10 million. Chris Brown, who's a wife beater, got $10 million. Steve Aoki got $10 million. Marshmello, the DJ guy, took all the money. He has a whole stadium touring crew that he let go during the pandemic and didn't pay them anything or retain them, and he just paid himself a payout from the loan. The whole $10 million he got. So Alice in Chains getting like $3 million to split between 4 guys. Doesn't bother me.
I'm not worried about that.
Slipknot got like $10 million and an extra $1 million for Knotfest. It's like, I'm not mad about it. And that $10 million goes to like their manager, Corey, and Clown, and not the other guys, because they're all employees. I don't think they got a payout either. You didn't hear them complaining. This is what led Mark Rizzo to quit Soulfly, because they didn't include him in the loan money. And Max had told him, like, listen, Soulfly Inc. is Gloria and Max. It's not anybody else. You're all contractors. I'm not going to give you money from this. That money's for me to live on. Go apply. You're a working musician. You should be able to get some money from them. And he was mad. That's why.
Let's look at this 2 ways. Yes, it looks bad, and there's no question about that. However, if you're really upset about it, you should be upset with the person who signed the shit into law and made it so where they could do whatever they want with it, rather than put, serious guidelines on it. Because if we go back to the wonderful heady years of 2009 and 2010, when we were in the throes of the Great Recession, and they bailed out Wall Street. Still waiting for that Main Street bailout, but they bailed out Wall Street. And
I discussed that in my video, by the way. I discussed that. Too big to fail, the banks, auto companies. Only GM paid their money back. Nobody else really ever did. The banks never paid it back.
What did the banks do with that money? I will tell you one particular
bank. They paid themselves their bonuses.
Yeah. One bank I was dealing with, when I was yelling at them for not helping me out after they had gotten bailed out, said, well, we paid it back. Yeah, you didn't help me, though. I'm going through a lot here. Why don't you help me? Anywho, so what did...
We were both laid off during the financial crash, right? Both of us.
Yeah. No, I still worked. But
I was laid off.
I worked, but what happened was I had made no money. I was a commission salesman at that point, and the world just went to hell. So we learned when they bailed out the banks, when they bailed out the car companies, what did they do with the bailout money? They fucking blew it. Did they pay the guys raises that, were building cars? Did they help people keep their houses? No. They didn't bail out the families which if they had bailed out the families the banks were foreclosing on, that would have bailed out the banks. But no, they bailed out the banks, who then turned around and stuck a knife in our back. You know what? When you give corporations money without explicit legal instructions on how to use it, you get what you get. That's a bad law. And don't worry, we'll see it again soon.
We are going to see all those things soon. A financial crash, another pandemic, another bailouts, another global depression, another, depression's a bad word, the D word.
Let me say one thing. Let me help out the people. There is a belief that coffee is going to go through the roof this year. Stock up. I am buying more coffee tomorrow. Not that I need it, but I'm going to separate it into bags and put it in my freezer, because I know a good spot to buy coffee on.
You shouldn't freeze coffee, because you could freeze coffee, but you shouldn't. And you shouldn't refrigerate.
We're freezing the beans.
You should never... beans you can freeze. You should never refrigerate ground coffee, because it basically absorbs the smells of all the food in your fridge.
No, my coffee goes into...
Pantry?
My coffee carafe.
Yes.
Where I make my cold brew. Then the beans go into the freezer in Ziploc bags.
I had coffee at your house. I really liked that. Whatever that coffee you made me was really good.
That was Aldi's cold brew. That is Aldi's French vanilla. Yeah.
Oh shit.
I am.
Having Aldi's near me, man. It's heartbreaking.
I am really getting to the point where I just don't want to spend any money on stuff. I want to.
Batten down the hatches.
Like my lawyer wife asked, do you want to go to Twisted Tree for your birthday dinner? And I'm like, it's a really good steak, but it's going to be $150. She's like, oh, yeah, I mean, I'd be just as happy going to the butcher shop and buying a $40 tomahawk ribeye and cooking that for myself. Which I made a nice sirloin last night. I decided to go cheap so I could have two steaks. Because you can get a 32-ounce sirloin at Aldi for $15. Or you can get a 14-ounce ribeye at Aldi for $15. I decided to go on the cheap. But I mean, that's just kind of where I'm at. Kiddo and I went to Dunkin' Donuts because they opened up a Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru right by our house. Up with Dunkies, down with Starbucks. Just going to say that out there. We spent $10 on coffee. And I'm like, $10? All I got was a fucking cold brew vanilla coffee. That's what I want.
Did you at least get a donut?
No. Their donuts suck ass.
They don't suck ass.
Yes, they do. All their donuts are day old.
That's not true.
That is true.
They're not supposed to be. They're
they are
made at a factory nearby and shipped.
They're made at a factory the day before.
Yeah, well, you can't have a kitchen in these retail locations anymore.
Yeah.
No,
anyway, if I wanted donuts, I'd go down to the local donut shop that's a block down the street.
There was a donut shop nearby.
Eddie's Donuts. It's home of the big donut. I've never had one.
I'm eating with my brain. I can't eat these things anymore.
I don't eat sweets anymore.
That's smart.
I gave up sweets so I could keep beer.
Keep beer, and that's, yeah. So, anyway, sorry for that very long news break, but I felt like these were important stories to discuss. And who knows what else will happen. We are in technically the quiet period of the year for the music world, but there are still things happening. 2025 releases being announced and tours being announced.
Well, and don't people listen to us for pontification? I mean, really.
I hope so.
I mean,
are you
listening?
Jesus.
If you're not listening, if you're not listening to this,
however many of you on Spotify,
if you don't want to hear us prittle prattle along, I don't know why you're here.
Pitter patter.
Prittle prattle.
Oh, prittle prattle. There's a pitter patter. Let's get at her.
That's Letterkenny. You yell at me about Letterkenny. Don't you Letterkenny? You just Letterkenny'd me.
I Letterkenny myself. Fuck me.
Pitter fucking patter.
All right. Shirt check and on to the meat, pal.
My shirt check is not friends of the show because they don't exist anymore. I bought this at the Sinkhole from the band while I was there to cover them. One of the things that I really try to do, and whenever I cover a band, especially if it's at a small club, if you're at the Pageant or the Fox or whatever, that's a different deal. But if you're playing, a club without a stage or just a tiny little club, Red Flag or whatever, I'm going to try to buy something. This was before they started releasing any of their music on vinyl. They only have 2 albums. I got them both. I don't have the split they did with Colt's Blood. I need that still. But, I bought a shirt from them.
Is that Nile and 6 Feet Under show at Red Flag? It has to be at a bigger place, right?
No, it's at Red Flag. Red Flag is pretty big.
Is it?
It's about 15, maybe
2,000?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, I didn't know. I always thought it was smaller.
It used to be because Red Fubar became Red Flag.
Oh, that's why.
And Fubar was 2 clubs in one, like a 250 and a 500. Then they opened up Red Flag down the street.
Fair enough. My shirt check is the band King Buffalo. Very excellent psychedelic heavy rock band you should check out. I bought this from them at the show.
I promised them I was going to buy like
bucks.
2, and I didn't. Or am I thinking of White Buffalo?
White Buffalo is the singer-songwriter guy who's got the song on the final song of Sons of Anarchy, Come to the Murder.
No, I'm thinking of King Buffalo. They had an album called 2, right? With like a big white buffalo
I think they do
cover.
very similar.
Yeah, I promised I was going to buy it and I didn't buy it.
Yeah, good band. Very good band. And I love the shirt is fucking metal as fuck, right? It's like a druid with a sword, right? Or I don't know what he is. There's planets.
Looks like a ring wraith.
I don't know what the fuck's going on here. Well, that would be 2 weeks in a row for me with the Nazgul shirt last week. Nazguls don't play water polo.
Look, fuck Lord of the Rings. I'm still.
You're still mad about it. I haven't seen it yet. I did see Craven, and I thought it was actually quite good. Although the internet is losing their shit over how bad it is. I did see.
If you want to lose their shit over how bad something is, go see War of the Rohirrim.
I'm gonna see it, and I'll let you know my thoughts.
You know what? You're probably gonna have like a way more sympathetic appreciation of it.
Very possible.
Because my fandom of Lord of the Rings, both you and Lawyer Wife insist that I'm a fan, and I feel that
we had a good time watching it, doing commentary, drunk commentary though.
Yeah, but I was insulting it, and I meant it.
Yeah, I know you meant it. I didn't mean it.
The thing is I feel like my fandom of Lord of the Rings is very adversarial. Like I'm just trying to dunk on him, and like then Aragorn knows.
I need to finish Rings of
Sorry.
Power too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Anywho, on to the meat, sir. Do you want to cue? We've done series where we've queued up 1990. I don't know what you want to talk about 1990. I have the albums ready.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and just straight to the albums. I mean, 1990 is not, we're still at the Velcro of hair metal to grunge, which creates a really interesting dichotomy, and I don't think we've ever really talked about, where grunge and extreme metal are kind of rising at the same time. And we are 2 years away from Morbid Angel Covenant. And that record sold 150,000 copies. That's insane. It's crazy that a death metal band sold that much, especially at this time. But we are standing at the precipice of death metal becoming not just an established genre, but an established genre where all the record labels got chartered jets over to Tampa Bay, Florida, which is kind of interesting. You want to rock the albums? Let's do it.
Let's rock the albums of 1990, which we have done before, but we'll do them again.
Well, do me, baby. Do me in the afternoon.
You can do me in the morning. Oh, no. Did I lose my thing?
Oh, you can do me in the night. You can do me underwater if you got the loop just right. I think I just changed the lyrics on that.
Belle Biv DeVoe, goddammit.
Speaking of which, there's a version of Crossroads on this Doors live album I checked today. Except Jim forgot the words. So instead of Eric Clapton going to the crossroads, you hear Jim going, woke up this morning and went to the crossroads. Woke up this morning with the crossroads on my mind. I'm like, no, that's Great Train. You're just singing Great Train, but like with the word crossroads in it.
Now we need a Bone Thugs and Harmony mashup with that Doors cover.
Why? No.
See you at the crossroads. No.
I miss Bone Thugs and Harmony.
I know you do. That's why I mention them whenever I can.
I want them to,
Gas and Corrupt, Bone Thugs and Harmony, The Dog Pound, Snoop Dogg,
to quote Killer Mike, we're gonna bone thug this shit till we get our stuff in harmony.
Nice.
That's from a Coup song. I need to check out Killer Mike by himself because everything he's done with the Coup, I have just been like, I love it. We ready for the records?
We should really do a Run the Jewels series. That would be like, we got to do our West Coast rap series, maybe in the next couple. Anyway, I'm gonna send you a thing.
Do it, baby.
Here. Albums that were released in 1990 from the metal and rock genre, and quite a year it was. And another future series was we were going to do a year and then just like really go deep without going like album to album, but like really talk about like the year in 1990. So the year 1990, Painkiller, Judas Priest.
I've never heard it.
That's insane, bro.
I know, it's wrong.
How is that possible?
I don't know. I've seen it. I've held it.
Have it or nay?
Nay.
Cowboys from Hell, Pantera.
Nay.
Oh, terrible.
I have the next one.
Persistence of Time, Anthrax, personal favorite.
Nope.
Have it. You build an empire. Queensryche, Empire.
Fuck them.
Oh, fuck.
I hate Queensryche.
I love Queensryche. You're terrible.
See, that's how you know that I am honest, is that my takes are so weird.
They're so weird and so unbelievable, they have to be yours. I'm not going to sing, but Danzig, Lucifuge, Danzig 2, I have it.
If you ever thought to yourself, man, if only 12 Bar Blues was a little bit satanic, there you go, Danzig 2, Lucifuge.
If only you slowed down the Misfits to a crawl and everything good about the Misfits was stripped out, you would have Danzig. I still love it.
No, you would have Danzig 2.
Rust in Peace, Megadeth.
Oh, great record. Don't have it.
I have it. The Razor's Edge, featuring Thunderstruck, AC/DC. After Back in Black, AC/DC does not have a complete good record at all.
No, ever.
They have a bunch of 2080 records.
1090s.
They wrote like a hit and then fuck the rest of this.
Yeah, they wrote a hit and went, get the bass player to finish this out, whatever.
San Francisco.
Lead songwriter.
Seasons in the Abyss, Slayer.
Oh, yeah, buddy. Got that. I bought that for, not long after our Slayer series.
Facelift, Alice in Chains, have it.
I need to get that.
Into the Mirror Black Sanctuary. Underrated.
No, I need to check out Sanctuary more than I know them.
On back-to-back Annihilator records, we had one for 89. Neverland, Annihilator.
Nope, not familiar.
Interesting that Neverland is an album by Annihilator, and Go to Hell also has a weird version of the Lord's Prayer a whole year before Enter Sandman is released. I wonder if they heard these records.
If you want to hear a terrible version of the Lord's Prayer, check out Merciful Fate's Into the Unknown.
Yes. Scumdogs of the Universe, Gawal.
Oh, got it. Hell yeah, I got a Record Store Day version.
Racket. It's not what it stands for. But I think that's cool. It should be what it stands for.
It should be, but it's not.
Tear, Black Sabbath.
Got it. I got a double. I got two of that.
Slaughter in the Vatican, Exhorter. I have this.
Do not.
This was a Gimme Metal a couple of years ago.
This is an interesting year because there's a lot of like really cool underground metal.
So much metal. And it's not that popular yet. Like it's going to be in another 18 months. Souls of Black, Testament, incredible. I have it.
Oh, I don't have that one.
Crazy World, Scorpions.
Not a big fan.
Spiritual Healing, Death.
Oh, I thought that was going to be Sexual Healing by Marvin Gaye.
No.
Nope.
You don't have this.
I don't have it. I don't like death.
I'm surprised.
Death is overrated.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Hammerheart, Bathory.
Nope.
Good record, don't have it. She's My Cherry Pie, Warren.
If I have a counterfeit, does it count?
It does count.
I listened to it yesterday. I have it.
That's embarrassing. Act 3 by Death Angel, amazing.
It is not embarrassing. Nothing I do is embarrassing. No, I don't have that one.
Left Hand Path by Entombed, another great classic death metal album. A lot of great death metal albums this year.
Do not have that one. That is some Swedish death metal.
Indeed. Rest LG Petrov. Rest in peace. Coma of Souls, Creator.
Nope, I don't like Creator.
Here's an album that we know sucks. The Eye by King Diamond.
I have it. It does
Beautiful
not suck.
album cover, horrible album.
I choose to believe it doesn't suck.
One of the classics by Napalm
Why did
Death.
I buy that one?
Because you're a glutton for punishment. Harmony Corruption by Napalm Death.
Nope.
Here's a string of albums I absolutely fucking love. Time's Up by Living Color. Fuck yes.
No, I don't have it.
Lights, Camera, Revolution, Suicidal Tendencies.
Great record.
With the
Don't have it.
classic
Do need
Can't Bring Me Down and a bunch of other things. Deicide, self-titled.
Ooh, not a great record.
Is that their debut?
No, debut is Legion,
it's their debut.
isn't it?
100%.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So you might be wrong.
Oh, I'm confusing that with a different one. Never mind. No, that's a good record.
You know, Obituary is today's record. Tales from the Twilight World, Blind Guardian.
I am not familiar with Blind Guardian even a little.
The worst Iron Maiden record not to feature Blaze Bayley, No Prayer for the Dying.
Wow, that
This thing
is
sucks.
it's a fart in a diving helmet is what that thing is.
Bruce should have quit before that record.
He should have quit before that.
Self-titled record by Trouble, great album, underrated.
Nope.
Shake Your Moneymaker, The Black Crows.
No, I'm not really all that big on them.
Former Glacially...
They're like a radio single band for me. Give me
it.
one song and I'm great. Do two in a row.
Former Glacially Musical Podcast subject and review topic, Eaten Back to Life, Cannibal Corpse.
Don't have it.
Nick's favorite record from the alternative metal and rock scene, Ritualo dello Habitual.
Got that one.
Strap It On by Helmet. I have it. I love it.
Whoa. Strap what on?
Strap just what you think. Strap it on.
Oh, my Lord. So is this like a Deadpool situation?
It is indeed.
Okay.
I want
don't have
crazy eye contact and go with that mood.
That was such a great line.
Yes, it's so good. Extreme 2, Porno Graffiti. Good album. I don't have it.
No, it is not.
A record I do have on vinyl and CD. Beg to Differ. Prong.
I need to get back into
We'll
Prong.
do a Prong series at some point.
I do have... oh, wait. No, that's Tad. Never mind. I was going to say I've got Brothers of the Sonic Cloth.
That is Tad, not Prong.
Yeah. I should do that on the DMA.
You should. Frizzle Fry. Primus.
No, I don't like Primus that
Pretty
much.
good. Tortured Existence. Demolition Hammer.
Not familiar even a little.
Thrash metal riffs, death metal vocals. Great band from the Bronx, New York. Let's see a few others. Firehouse, self-titled.
Fuck Firehouse. Seriously. I saw them in concert like 6 or 7 years ago.
My brother was going to get married to that big song they had, and
Like-
his engagement fell through, and he did not get married to that chick.
Okay, probably told this story before, but when lawyer and wife were like flirting, when we were on the phone, we're on the apps, right? I really wanted a heavy metal girlfriend. I've always wanted a heavy metal girlfriend. So I'm like, so you like metal, you like heavy metal, right? She's like, oh yeah, I love it. Awesome, this is great. So I asked her, do you want to go see King Diamond? Who? Do you want to go see Testament?
You're lucky she stayed with you. You want to go see King Diamond. You're so lucky.
And the response was, I'm like, you said you liked heavy metal. I was like, oh, I think you said hair metal. So we had to see Firehouse, and
That's what you deserve for asking for her to go see King Diamond. You deserve it.
what's wrong with King Diamond?
Firehouse, White Lion, you deserve everything you get. Great White, whatever passes for Great White.
No, I will not see Great White. I can't bring myself unless they come with somebody that I really want to see.
The last few ones.
Mm-hmm.
Lock Up the Wolves, Dio. Not a good album.
I got that one. I got that on original vinyl.
I don't think it's good.
It's not, but I have it.
Detonator by Rat.
Nope.
Not a good record.
Last Rat record of note.
What is a good record is Flesh and Blood by Poison.
Hell yes, got that on original UK vinyl.
High school graduation cassette tape rotation album.
Look, if you don't love Something to Believe in, you are a soulless husk of corn, and I'm going to turn you into a tortillo, eat you, digest you, and crap you out after eating you in hot
Please
sauce.
don't say tortillo ever again in my
Tortillo.
presence. Jesus Christ. What I thought at the time was an equal record to Poison, but in hindsight is not. Heartbreak Station by Cinderella.
Oh!
Where is Don when I need him to back me up on this?
Oh, God,
Don
Cinderella.
absolutely loved Cinderella.
Why? I've seen them twice. It sounds like there's a cat dying
Well,
in his esophagus.
Kiefer is not a great
Singer? Good?
Lost Paradise, the debut album by Paradise Lost, very underrated. You definitely don't have it. I don't have it. I
Do
would
not.
like it. Blackout in the Red Room by Love Hate, a very underrated band. I barely
Don't know
remember
them.
this record. It's probably like a 30-30-30. And the tragic and only debut full-length album by Mother Love Bone, Apple.
What was the one that they released later? Was it Apple?
Well, they had like
With
the compilation
Stardog
Chloe
Champion?
Dancer and stuff. It's all from here. Like this.
Okay, because I remember a purple cover with Andrew.
I have it. Yeah,
dancing.
That
That's
was
all I
the
remember.
He's Dead. Let's repackage everything they ever did and put it out. It's only just one album and some
they
other
did that
stuff.
thing. Okay.
And a mashup of Chloe Dancer, Crown of Thorns, which I should do at karaoke. I'm gonna do all Christmas songs and Hanukkah songs at karaoke tomorrow. That's pretty much the year in music for 1990. It was an incredible year. This is before the Black Album. We don't yet have White Zombie. Bring the Noise is a thing at this time.
We do have White Zombie, but not really.
Not good White Zombie. I saw them in the clubs back then.
They only did one good record. But that one good record is amazing.
Well, I highly recommend everybody see the Who the Fuck Is That Guy? The Fabulous Journey of Michael Alago documentary by Drew Stone. He's like, they didn't even have a good song. They had one part of one riff that I was like, that's good. And on that one part of one riff, he signed them to Geffen. What the fuck? And he was right. He was right.
And then they imploded in 18 months.
Well, no, not quite. Like,
what, 2 years?
4 years. Like
4
92
years. They did,
and 96. Because
they did 2.5 records.
They did two records. And,
2.5.
And then Rob was like, I don't need this band to do
My Terrible
Cat
Crap
over and over and over. I can just be myself.
There was La Sexorcista, which is just a 10 to 10 masterpiece.
Don't you do it. Don't you disparage Electric Head in my presence, sir. It is.
Then there was Astro Creep, which was nothing like the previous record.
Yes, it was nothing like the previous record. But they also couldn't make the same record twice because if that record hadn't been such a huge hit record, they would have been sued out of existence because of all the samples they didn't get cleared.
Well, then on top of that,
on the second record, he went in and was like, I just set up yours, baby, instead of sampling the movie because they didn't want to get sued again.
And then they put out Super Sexy Swingy Sound.
Whatever.
Super Sexy Swinging Sounds. 2.5, it's a release.
In the 90s, it's a common thing for a remix record.
Yeah, it was a
Fear
common
Factory
thing.
did it first, a bunch of bands did.
It counts as a half a record.
Gravity Kills.
Half a record. Gravity
I
Nails?
love Gravity Kills from
I
St.
hate
Louis.
Gravity Nails.
I knew you hate them. I love
They're
them.
terrible. The first time they played St. Louis at Point Fest, they opened and closed with Guilty.
That's insane. I love it so
They only
much.
had one record.
They only had the one record. I love it so much. I wish they would come back.
Why?
Because I like doing Enough and Guilty at karaoke. They're in my top 10 industrial metal songs of all time.
How are we? Sometimes I wonder how we're friends. You are so
wonder how
wrong.
we're friends. You don't like a certain things that I love.
You are so wrong about so many things.
This is my curse and my gift. I'm Spider-Man. My name is Peter Parker, but you can call me.
I'm Spider Pig. You can call me Peter Porker because I like to eat steak.
Spider Ham. Spider Ham.
Oh God, I love Spider Ham. Okay, look, stop.
I'm Peter Parker.
We are going to get way off topic here, so let's not do that. Before we get going on this, I looked at Discogs because I don't have this, and something we should have talked about last week that we didn't. You know, you had said, "Oh, I thought you listened to this on vinyl." I did not, because I don't have any of the classic Obituary records on vinyl. I have both Slowly We Rot and Cause of Death on the Live Infection releases, where the current band played the albums front to back. I have those, and they're amazing. They're great, right? There was no original pressing in America of this album. There's no vinyl pressing from 1990 of Cause of Death in America, only in Europe. How many different versions of this album do you think have been released? Now, we are talking about, it is a classic, of course, but we are talking about a death metal record. How many different versions were released? Now, keeping in mind, we are still at the versions of all three formats. So, take a guess.
1.
Obviously not. That is a terrible, terrible guess.
It's a terrible guess. 3.
Just three pressings. Just 3. Really? That's what you're going to go with?
I'm going to go with 3.
Okay, that is just that's even worse than 1. I mean, that's less thought than 1.
Help me out.
91.
What?
91 pressings of this album.
Why? And you don't.
You're
have
forgetting
one.
something else. We are also in peak record club era.
Now.
No, at the time, 1990. BMG.
Oh, you mean like CD?
What do you mean? I'm talking about everything.
Okay. I don't think people were really buying vinyl that much back then, but all right.
Not much, but it was still there. Still existed in Europe. Europe. Ook Europe.
Oop. Up.
Ook.
Means I love you.
Eep op ork means hey,
song.
come fly with me. Up high with me. Eep op ork means I dig you.
Judy Jetson.
South Korea, unofficial release 1990.
Yeah, we don't
Turkey
need to read them all. I'll take your word
cassette. But I mean, there's cassettes, there's CDs, and there's vinyl at the time of this release. And there are a crazy amount of cassette pressings. But 91 pressings, I mean, if each one of those sold 10,000 copies, that's a super successful record.
That's fair.
So I just thought that was interesting. Go ahead.
No. We talked about in the last episode, before you continue or before we start the track by track, we talked about in the last episode how brand new of a genre this is. If you consider if you consider Death Scream Bloody Gore or Possess 7 Churches the first death metal record, depending on who you fight about, or maybe there's another one in there I'm not aware of, Master maybe.
Master started earlier. They released one album as something else, but they didn't release anything until like 91 or 92. So
this is such a brand new genre that when we were debating last week, like, is it even fair to judge a record this new to the genre? And this, was creative. It was very creative. Everybody was playing as fast as they humanly could, and Obituary was like, let's slow it down. For one reason or another, let's take it to half tempo.
We'll slow it down because we got Bud Light and by the truckload.
Maybe.
Can't play fast when you're on a case of Bud.
Maybe. But I'm saying, like, in a year, now we have Deicide, we have Morbid Angel, we have Immolation, we have Suffocation, we have Master, we have Macabre is coming, we have Cannibal Corpse. Like
You said Morbid Angel?
Morbid Angel, Monstrosity.
Carcass has now become death
starting.
metal.
Napalm Death is already out, even though still technically grindcore, transitioning already to death metal on their second release. Like, now the genre is filling up, and this was my senior year of high school, and I was like, okay, I dismissed death metal. Originally, I was like, I hate the vocals. I'm a singer. I like Iron Maiden and Led Zeppelin and stuff like that. I like singers. But like, this shit was mind blowing when you first heard it. When you first heard this record, you must have been like, wow. I'm sure it was later, but still. Now's your time to talk.
Oh, God damn it! Anyway,
I heard it to you.
What?
I kicked it to you to go.
I know, and I forgot to hit unmute. I had a great, wonderful soliloquy that is now lost until I start saying it again. I heard this in like '92. I can remember being in. This is back when I lived in Illinois from '88 to '94 in Southern Illinois, and I can remember being back, hanging out with my cousins for a couple of weeks. Saw Iron Maiden on the Fear of the Dark tour, which was my very first concert. Testament opened and COC, and we also went to see Agnostic Front with support by friends of theirs, Crucible, which. Featuring Stephen Bouchard, later creates Travail, later moves to Arizona and creates Motive. But I remember, like, I bought the tape. Yeah, Crucible had a tape that they were selling, so I bought a tape and a t-shirt. And I remember looking in that, seeing Obituary, and one of them was wearing an Obituary t-shirt. Now, these guys were Crucible, as fun as they were such serious Metallica worship. It was like Metallica, Slayer, and Obituary all in one. They had no chance of going anywhere, as much fun as it was. The singer was not spectacular, and he did too much of that James Hetfield, bark, but still a fun time. And that was when I first heard of Obituary. He was wearing an Obituary Cause of Death t-shirt. So I remember a couple of years later buying Cause of Death from Columbia House. I was a big Columbia House guy in '94 to '96. And I always joked about it's the worst lyrics of any death metal record because it's the least number. Each song has like 15 words. That's all it is. And it's the right number. They did the right number of words for death metal. Because you know what? You can only say cutting your leg off and hitting you in the face with it so many different ways. I mean, do we need to do the what movie do we need a Rashomon this leg cutting? Do we need to hear the victim, the perpetrator, and the witness? Do we need to hear all of their testimonials, or do we just need the one? That's all we need. I mean, just slow it down, get it rumble, have a Bud Light during the solo, and there you have Obituary, and it's just perfection.
No, it's hard to argue with that. They hit the formula. They really hit the formula on the second record. I don't know why. We talked about I don't know why for them being made in the Pinnacle studio by the best producer at the time, why it's not that great a sounding record compared to some other.
Because he hadn't learned it. I think he hadn't learned it yet.
No, it doesn't make sense because he already done a bunch of other. He did Death. He did Sepultura records that sound amazing. Doesn't track. Just for whatever reason, that record didn't come out good. I'm gonna stand by that. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Is it even fair to say that Obituary is classic Tampa Bay death metal?
Yeah, absolutely. They're the only band that's from Tampa Bay.
But they don't sound like Tampa Bay death metal, even now.
Well, see, I'm going to argue they are the sound of Tampa Bay death metal. They, in fact, when people today, so as a person, I am the editor, the chief editor of Ghost Cult Mag. I'm the co-owner and chief editor along with Omar Cuttis. Every review that comes through the site, every piece of content that comes through the site comes through these two peepers. Holy fuck, I need a break. I have some help, but I need. I
have no idea where you're going with this. Continue.
So I read everybody's reviews, and we do an extraordinary amount of death metal, underground and mainstream. And when you see the term OSDM, it almost always refers to a sound of Obituary. It literally old school, groovin', sometimes technical, brutal, old school death metal. Not technical death metal, not the cleanest, pristinest, fastest drums. Grooves.
So what's Morbid Angel? What's Deicide?
Well, I also OSDM, but also I don't think but also those bands are so singular, and other bands try to sound like them. They didn't try to sound like anybody else, right? I think also Deicide literally has like a one style of. They don't really have a variation in their music. It's literally
Glenn Benton has
lane.
2 vocal deliveries.
But I'm saying as a songwriter, they have one lane.
I know, but that's the only difference he has. He's got the...
And I would say Cannibal Corpse and Morbid Angel and later Death morph into technical death metal. Literally found and become technical death metal along with like Atheist and Cynic and things like that.
I'm gonna hard disagree on that one.
I'm gonna hard disagree. I'm telling you from my standpoint what I say.
Okay, fair enough.
So, Cause of Death come right back with another record, and as we discussed last week, they went on tour and they already had most of this record kind of written and were already performing more than half of it live by the end of the year. This was released in September of 1990, right around my birthday. I was starting at Bronx Community College as a freshman.
I didn't know you lived in the Bronx.
You did not know that I was from the Bronx, New York, and I also lived in Salem, Massachusetts, and Boston, Massachusetts, and Brookline, Massachusetts, and Quincy, Massachusetts.
You would have mentioned any of this by now.
I lived in Goffstown, New Hampshire. I also lived in Brooklyn, New York, and now I live in San Francisco. I also spent time in Fairfield, California. All right. Also produced by Scott Burns and Obituary. Also recorded at Morrisound. Why does this record sound so much better than the first one? Why?
It sounds way better.
Not just a little better.
No.
Better.
Thousands better.
And it's not the same band. Of course, they've had a lineup change.
Look, the first one is Iron Man. This record is Avengers Infinity War, I Love You 3000.
Fair. Do you
in terms of sound.
Do you know the backstory on the album cover of this album?
I do. Originally, this cover was based on H.P. Lovecraft artwork, and it was sent to Sepultura to be Beneath the Remains. And then the label decided, no, we're going to send this to Obituary and send a different one to Sepultura.
They're not on the... Yeah, like...
Both Roadrunner.
And there's another band in there also that got to use a
Too many bands.
Part of the... So the actual painting, Michael Whalen did the painting, but it's inspired by Lovecraft, right?
And it was used in a Lovecraft anthology.
Yes, but the actual painting is like say a bay window horizontal. So one half is this eyeball thing that's on this album, Cause of Death, and the other record, the other half of the painting, is on the randomly not as interesting Nightmare A and Nightmare in Red was going to be Beneath the Remains, and then Nightmare B is used for Demolition Hammer's '92 album Epidemic of Violence, who I do love, and I love that record. But you really should get in on that band. But it's really weird.
It has nothing to do with the record. This is as far away from the concept of the record.
Yeah, it really does.
As Black Sabbath Warpigs was, as Black Sabbath Paranoid was.
They don't have a song on here that relates to the artwork, but it is an incredible artwork. We do have the classic logo with
it's lovely. I love it. Yeah.
On it.
Well, we had said last week Obituary came out with their logo day one. They're ready to go.
They don't. It's not with the. It's dripping in blood, but it doesn't have like the sheen over it, if you will. It's just a straight up
I'm not
logo.
going to count that. It's got the shape. The shape is what matters. Iron Maiden has done 15 different logos, but it's all in the same shape.
Yeah, and the font on the title is the same.
Right.
First record with a new bass player and lead guitar player. Very notable, Frank Watkins, who ended up being in the band for a long time, rest in peace. And James Guitar Murphy, like Nick Podcast Cameron and Mick Guitar Jones. James Murphy, formerly of Death at this point. And
I don't know if you know, but Mick Guitar Jones is not real. That's just what I said.
Well, you're going to live with it forever.
I don't want to.
James Murphy comes in and he showed them a bunch of songs for the album. They rejected all of them, so he just played leads. He wrote and played leads on this album. They're all
he pulled a Kirk Hammett.
And then he turned around and took those songs and started his own band, Disincarnate, and their album, Dreams of the Carrion Kind, would be on that record.
Is carrion not like one of the greatest words?
Indeed. So
as we say all the time, I think
by the way, Igor Cavallero was so mad about the album cover thing that he had the album cover tattooed on his arm, and still obviously does.
What, the Obituary album cover?
No, the Sepultura one. Because he was so mad.
Okay, that's like in the Motley Crue movie. Look, Theater of Pain, the best record ever. But they changed the name.
Love and Death.
There you go. I couldn't remember what it was.
And it's like, no, we changed it to Theater of Pain last night. Didn't you know?
That was a fun movie. It's not really very
It's not
realistic.
accurate, but it's very fun. And
No,
it's the only thing I care about Machine Gun Kelly for. He's actually quite good as Tommy Lee.
Yeah, he does a great Tommy Lee. He should do that all the time.
He should just be Tommy Lee. He probably can play drums as good as Tommy Lee now.
You know what we're ready for?
We're ready for the
Tommy Lee the Younger.
the clone.
Tommy Lee 2.0.
Tommy Lee the Substance, which Nick hasn't seen and probably shouldn't see.
Whoa, I don't know what that is.
The Substance, the greatest horror movie I've seen in years, came out this year.
Okay, you lost me. Where was I? So we have a great cover, which has nothing to do with the music inside. It's scary, which the music is supposed to be scary, so we got that going for it. But I think we can agree, and as we say routinely, one of the reasons why we do series like the way we do is it's important to look at an artist's work over the course of time. Because if AC/DC... No, AC/DC is not a good choice. If Kiss had... Oh, God, that's not a good choice. If Metallica had never gotten through Kill 'Em All, if they had never evolved out of Kill 'Em All, we would not be talking about them today. If Black Sabbath had not evolved out of Paranoid or Master of Reality, we wouldn't be talking about them now. So here we have a band who comes out of the chute ready to go. Their first album sounds terrible. It just sounds awful. And if you really like those songs and you think it sounds terrible, you're right. Buy Live Infection. Because now it sounds great. I have it. It sounds great. I can tell you. When they go into the studio the second time, Mora Sound has put out about 1,500 other death metal records in that time and really learned how to record it. And this album sounds 20, 30 times better. It sounds classic. Whereas the first one sounds like a mistake. And with that, I'm ready to track it.
Alrighty, you had to get that mention of Live Infection in there again. I feel like this
I'm going to get it every time. I won't mention it next week, probably.
All songs on the record written by John Tardy, except where noted by Trevor. All lyrics by Tardy, all music by Trevor Perez and Don Tardy, except the cover we're going to discuss. And Alan West had already co-written "Cause of Death" with Trevor before he left the band. He comes back in on the next record.
John Death Metal Tardy.
John Death Metal Tardy. Keith Roast Beef Chackus. That was my nickname for a long time. Keith Roast Beef.
Oh, Roast Beef is a good name.
It is.
Especially
Johnny Roast Beef, like Goodfellas. I love that car. It's in my mother's name. Get it out of here. Take it out of here. What are you, crazy? I told you. No big purchases. Nothing flashy.
Buy nothing. Oh, did you hear that? And Mo Black's brother, Fat Andy.
Fat Andy.
That's not nice.
Which implies there's a skinny Andy.
And then there's Jimmy the, I'm not saying it.
Yeah. Got it.
Jimmy the Fetty.
Tommy No-Nos.
And Michael Franchese and Mickey 2 times, because we always said, I'm going to go get the papers. Get the papers.
Get the papers. My buddy's license plate says 2 times on it as a tribute to that guy. That's a very obscure but great tribute. The album kicks off with the song they had already been playing live for some time, Infected.
And here we are right now, because one of the things I don't think we have talked about is when it comes to Tampa Bay death metal, these bros, as you have said, every chance you've gotten, and please continue doing it, that they are the only Tampa Bay death metal dudes from Tampa. They're probably the only ones that know. They're probably the only ones at this point that know it's actually not Tampa Bay, Florida. It's actually just Tampa. It's San Francisco. It's not San Francisco Bay. Apparently, Tampa sucks so hard. You got to mention the water.
The water. I think it has to do. It's an NFL thing. That's where Tampa Bay comes.
Well,
from.
That was the first team they had. It was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and then Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Years? I don't think that's not. No.
Yes, that's true.
No,
they did not. They were literally like 0-24 before they won a game.
Are you serious? I don't think that's right.
I'm not kidding.
God, that would be awful.
It was awful.
Then there was Tampa Bay Devil Rays, now Tampa Bay Lightning, and there was the...
Well, now they're the Rays, because you can't have a band with... You can't have a band. You can't have a... Wait a minute. You can absolutely have a band with devil in it. You cannot have a sports team in Florida with the word devil in it, so it's now the Rays.
That's so stupid. And then Tampa Bay Lightning, and the last team was the Tampa Bay Storm, of the Arena Football
Religion
League.
is the dumbest fucking thing of all time. I'm not going to change my mind on that one.
That's fine. So what I was saying before we got off the topic was these guys are actually writing like they're from Tampa. I mean, Infected. I mean, who was going to... Chris Barnes isn't writing that. Glenn Benton isn't writing about being infected by rednecks with their Bush Light. I don't think that's what the song is about, but I dream that's what it's about.
I feel like it's about zombies.
Well, fair enough. Okay, does that not check out for Tampa? I mean, we're talking about Nut Bar, Florida here. In Florida Man is a thing. There's a reason why it's a thing.
It was always a thing.
Right, it's always a thing, and now we just talk about it. Now it's a thing that we talk about, rather than just kind of going, oh, Disney World's there. So, love that. And then they move on to Body Bag. Again, we've got...
Another classic.
This whole record is classic.
Pretty much.
This is a 10 out of 10 record, if I can spill my load a little bit.
All right. Should be saving that load, but all right.
You know what? Sometimes I get excited. And I just got a spoot on the screen. Thankfully, nobody can see it.
I'll let you have it.
All right, fair enough. We now have... The weird thing is this is when we get that kind of gallopy drum sound. And the tardy boy doesn't just gallop on the snare like most, he's doing it with the double bass too. So you get the and it's just this awesome active kind of feeling which makes the whole song better.
I don't disagree. It is a killer song. It's still in the set list. Most of this stuff is still in the set list. They performed this entire album at the Decibel Metal and Beer Fest this year.
I believe that's how I Have Live Infection of this one.
All right.
I think that's what they recorded.
Probably their best known song. Chopped in Half is the third song on the record, the pinnacle third song. It is the perfect length. It is brutal. It is fantastic. You can almost sing along to it. It's catchy even for an Obituary song, dare I say.
Remember last week we were talking about how great they were at 3.5?
That's it.
And now we're spooging over these 5-minute songs, and then they go 3:45.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing. Keep it short. This one.
This was also the song they named their beer after.
I didn't get to have it. How was it?
I never had it. It's but the fact that it was called Hopped in Half and it was a lager.
That's great.
And it was a lager, so that checks out. I mean, that's.
I wish
you don't
we
need
could
many
go
hops
to
in a
Metal
lager.
Beer Fest. That would be really a thing for us.
That would be a lot of fun. I would also like to get some clams and oysters.
What does that have to do with Philadelphia?
It's on the ocean.
Is the seafood good in Philly? I don't think they're known for their seafood, are they?
It's got to be better than the seafood here next to the fucking muddy-ass Mississippi.
That's fucking true, yeah.
I mean, I don't even know if
fish
there's...
come out of the Mississippi? None you could eat, right?
Oh, no, they do. They do. We got fish markets. I mean, have you ever had a buffalo fish?
No.
The big thing right now is they're renaming carp so people will eat them.
Carp is awesome. What's wrong?
Is it? I've never actually had it.
Yeah.
We won't. Nobody here will eat it though. I can tell you that much.
Oh, that's fine. What do you think about this cover? This on anybody else's record, this would be the best song, but this record is so good, it's not the best song.
I didn't even know this was a cover until I started reading this.
A lot of people didn't know Celtic Frost and Tom G. Warrior. Circle of the Tyrants. It's been covered many times.
Great rendition.
I got to see Pantera and Anthrax cover this live in 1997. It was insane.
This is one of those things. Mr. Hardy can really just jam out the vocals and.
It's Hardy, not Hardy.
That's what did I say?
I said Hardy.
All right, fine. The Hardy boy, the Hardy man. We got Hardy man is John and Hardy boy is drummer. Can we stick with that?
Am I a bad person if I hear a crying baby outside and I want to scream at it to shut
yes. The fuck up? Oh my god! What are we even doing here?
I don't know.
This is a great song. Moving on to the next one, Keefy. Dying. Go.
Dying. That's the preferred mode that I want children under the age of 2 to be in. We need population control. I'm in favor of it. Dying.
Thank you, Uncle Scrooge.
Dying is a pretty solid song. Great. Let's talk about James Murphy. So Alan West, who's an incredible co-lead songwriter and lead guitarist, is more of like a shreddy but bluesy guy, like a Hammett on steroids. He's not Shrewsy. James Murphy is really the guy who brings in, along with Trey from Morbid Angel and a few other people, James Murphy is really the guy, and of course Chuck Schuldiner of Death is the guy who, and he was in Death. He brings in this progressive metal, this not just neoclassical shredding like Paganini and stuff like horrible Yngwie Malmsteen, but he really is the guy who almost co-invents technical death metal, because not only can he riff, he does these wildly inventive shredding solos that are just brain-defying. And he really elevates this entire record, including Dying. And they rejected all his songs, which is like, what?
Yeah, why would you get help from somebody that can, do this stuff? No. Dying, great song. And this is one of those, and it should point out, this album is 41 minutes. What does 41 minutes signify in the death metal world? That's as long as you should go.
About as long as you need. Just like 3 days in Vegas. You don't need more.
From Ted Lasso. Have you ever been to Vegas? Yes. 2 days is just right. 3 days is too much. We lost way more money in 3 days than we did in 2. It's not even close.
Unsurprising. Keep them playing. The longer you keep them playing, the more they will lose.
I love that there's another strip that I'm scared to go to called the Boulder Strip.
Is that Colorado?
It's up to the Hoover Dam.
Oh, I am not aware of it.
It's like scary.
Is it?
Yeah, it's scary. Moving on.
Is this a goddamn...
What?
I hope to see a bunch of sluts in Vegas. She's just going to check out the sluts.
Look at this guy. He's old. He probably scored.
He's scored. Yeah, a lot of times. Beavis and Butthead Do America. Go watch it today.
That movie is so awful.
It's still so good. Bruce
It's
Willis
awful in the right. It's awful in the
Robert
best way.
Stack. Deep and hard. Roto-Rooter.
What did you say? The guys whose trailer they were whacking off in? You are an FBI agent.
Never end a sentence with a preposition. I literally use that all the time as an editor.
That's not a thing. You can end. You totally can. That is. I do.
You should not.
I end a sentence with a preposition on.
You also write these things hammered to fuck, and like a couple of them have been brilliant, and then some of them have been like, this is a thing. I guess I'll publish.
Whoa!
You admitted it. I don't have to do your work for you. I'm not the bad guy here. I'm just...
Look, I'm not hammered as... okay, the Pink Floyd one I was hammered
the Pink Floyd one was like, my feelings.
Yeah, but you wrote back, you're like, wow, this is amazing. I did not see this.
But then I didn't read it a second time. I was like, it's not amazing. I have to...
Whoa! No, it was amazing.
It was pretty amazing. The Wall one was actually like insanely brilliant.
Which one?
It's going to be The Wall. The Wall one was... right on, because so much has been written, and we've spent so much time talking about that record that I needed a different thing for that, and that was right on.
I only give different perspectives.
Hipster, contrarian Nick. Anyway,
I am not a hipster.
The horribly titled, and then it turns out not that good a song, Find the Arise is the next song, and it's
what the hell does that even mean? Moving
the soft underbelly of the album is this song.
Yeah, it's one song.
Do you agree?
Yeah, it's fine.
It's the shortest song.
It's fine. It's a song. It does things.
Thankfully, it's only 2:31.
Right, and it ends. It ends the right time.
Yeah. And then the let's say the second most popular song on this album, still in the set list, the title track, "Cause of Death." It's brilliant.
Welcome to Captain Classic time. Gather around, kids. We're going to play a song for you that you're going to be listening to till you die.
And this is, again, co-written by Alan, who's out of the band at this point, but like it sounds like the first record, like the straight up 4 on the floor, brutal grooves.
No, it sounds like the first record, but good.
Yeah, what better?
Not that the first record was bad.
Good. No, you called it a 10 of 10, which I was like,
but amazing.
This would be a 10 of 10 compared to that first record.
Yeah,
I don't think either of these are 10s, but okay.
It's okay, 9 out of 10.
Yeah. Cause of Death rules.
Great song.
What else can you say?
Nothing.
Not the memory remains, but memories remain.
Several memories remain, not a singular memory remains.
Yes.
And no one got dizzy making a video of this one.
Paul Thomas Anderson, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I love that video.
I do too.
I still don't understand the whole Marianne Faithfull part of the situation, but I'm fine with it.
It's fine.
It's got that riff where it feels like you can hear the them like twisting the guitar neck. It's just a cool sound.
Yeah. So this
It's dope
song,
for me.
pretty good. Not as super memorable as the rest of the album.
No, I mean,
pretty good.
the rest of the album has, again, we're talking about a band that is coming out of the box, just dropping classics like Jimmy the Gent dropping hundreds at the poker table. Here the Irishman gonna take all your fucking money. I'm not saying the actual line. I know what he actually said.
Careful, buddy.
I'm not saying it. I'm not a skinny.
Great, yeah, like what Tardy and James Murphy. Tardy, the drummer, Don.
Don
James
Tardy.
Murphy really, Trevor wrote great songs.
Don Blastbeat Tardy.
Yes.
And John Death Metal Tardy.
I mean, more like power groove, double pedal Tardy, but
but
not the blast beats is really Suffocation and Cannibal Corpse and
Morbid Angel.
Yeah. And less so for Death. But maybe we need to just do a Death series since you're not a fan of the band. Well, I mean, like we've already now gonna have done 2 of the classic death metal big 4. We should do the other 2. You love Morbid Angel. I prefer to do
love Morbid
Death.
Angel. We haven't done Deicide, have we?
We haven't done Deicide. We could do Suffocation also. So these are future plans.
I would rather do Immolation than Suffocation just because I don't know them as well.
Oh, that's fair. And Suffocation's like my favorite death metal band. Them and Nile. Nile would also be great for a series.
Wait, are you actually sending me to Nile? Is that a real thing?
You asked for it. I
did ask for it.
Yeah, I said I would. I'm gonna get you in the show. Block it out on your calendar because I know that you will do an unflinching review of 6 Feet Under, and I don't care if that I'm not going to go through their label. I'm going to go through Napalm Records for Nile. So I don't care if you bash 6 Feet Under. I don't give a fuck if you shit on his dreams and kill his mama.
Beautiful.
Give
me
when you used to get like a flip book where you would draw like 100 illustrations and then go like that, and you would see it animate.
You should see what I wrote on the other side. Well, that's just brilliant.
Yeah, if you drew a flip book of you murdering Chris Barnes' mama, I wouldn't care and I'd publish it. I don't care about that guy or that band at all.
Okay, I might actually do that now.
Turned Inside Out is the final track of the album, and it's a banger.
I want to talk about a title, man. I'm sorry. I love these guys because you know what? One of the things that I think we talk about a lot in death metal is, it's grindhouse, it's ridiculous, it's silly. Then you go to Carcass and Bill Steer looks behind him at the screen and it's a wall of severed penises.
Corporal Jigsaw Quandary. What?
At which point Jeff is singing about penises being severed.
Yeah, Jeff literally got the almanac of medical autopsies and deformities, and he's literally writing lyrics based on passages in the book.
No, he's not writing based on. He's just writing it down.
He's copying them. Let's give John Tardy, because you made an interesting point last week, and I want to follow up on it. You not very wordy, right? Let's be polite. Not wordy. The greatest 8-letter song ever. I listened to that like 3 times, and I was like, the greatest 8-word song in death metal history. The greatest 8. So, like, for a guy that's not very verbose, he's a really good lyricist. And he's and his song titles are not so dumb or so trying hard. Like, he's right on, like, the right sensibility. If you're gonna make these horrible, horrifying songs, Cause of Death, Chopped in Half, Body Bag, Turned Inside Out. What does Duncan say? What do all my British friends say? It does what it says on the tin. I know they hate me for saying it. They hate us.
That's all you need.
They hate us because they ain't us.
He's verbose in just the right way.
And I said anus, not anus.
Oh, God.
Anyway,
crazy
seriously,
eye contact,
this
crazy
is a great
contact.
fucking title. These are great titles. John is very
great titles.
underrated.
What he does is he writes a title, and then he sings the title, and then he sings 4 other things that are like the title, and then he goes, I got it. You guys do your solos, and I'm going to go have a smoke outside. In 1990, probably not outside. But it's like, look, you guys fight this over. I'm good. I did it. I nailed it. His vocals are amazing. No one has copied his delivery. I love that he sings. I mean, Obituary is, moving into the sum up now, Obituary is a halftime Tampa Bay death metal band. Everybody plays faster than them. Everybody plays heavier than them. They played this sludge groove death that at this time is completely singular. And he sings at halftime of their halftime. So he's really slow and he can emote it, and he doesn't need to go straight up Rashomon talking about this crime scene. We just need one perspective. He gives you the John Death Metal Tardy perspective, and then you get 18 solos and some blast beats and and you know what? I walk home happy. Every time I see them, I walk home happy. These guys know what they're doing. No notes. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. There's one song that's a little squiffy.
This is a 9 of 10 album. This is still a classic, one of the classic top 10 ever death metal albums.
Top 5.
Maybe. I think there's some things that have come along since it came out that surpassed it, but like this is great. And it was groundbreaking at the time and things like that. Do you have any other thoughts on this record?
No, I mean the biggest thought I have on this record is it would be fucking nice if they would release, give me a re-release, because I don't. Even the re-releases from like 2015 are $100 now.
Well, guess what?
Oh, Chicken Butt.
What Chicken Butt? The 25th anniversary of this album will be next year.
Yes, it
and
will.
I know a certain person at Ghost Cult that's probably going to write the retrospective. Probably you.
Oh, damn.
But it's in September, so
I've heard of that guy.
We have a ways away. Just for a quick final note, this is our final podcast of 2024, and we're on to 2025 starting with a chaser, and then we'll finish Obituary and go on to another thing. And I just want to thank you for this year. This has been one of the few highlights of my otherwise pitiful and horrible existence this year. It is your birthday this week. Happy birthday! It is Christmas this week. If you're celebrating, Merry Christmas. Happy Chanukah and Kwanzaa too, and whatever else if you like them. And also Nothing. We're going to probably do this Doors record at some point as a
What
chaser.
Doors record? What Doors record?
Doors box set. Live in
This
Detroit.
Doors record?
Record Store Day, which Nick doesn't like to participate in, but then ended up unwillingly getting one as a gift.
Look, what's the participation equivalent of hate watching? Hate citating? I like the hate citate.
Okay.
I don't know how else to describe it. We talk about every year that we hate Record Store Day and we blah 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 blah.
We love Record Store Day. It's bullshit.
And every year we show our ass.
I figured out how to do it now, so I can love it.
I can't love it.
Even with no money.
I can't love it, but I'm still gonna go take part and hate myself.
Nick, again,
Yes.
Thank you for this year. Happy birthday in advance. Happy holidays to everybody listening. We will be back with our next episode in 2025 as a chaser. Thanks everybody for being on this journey with us. And Nick, take us home. I got nothing else.
Thank you very much for listening. This has been the Glacially Musical Podcast. We are a show where we like to look at an era of a band. And if you like an era of a band, or you just like us hearing us divert, go ahead and give us a like, give us a subscribe. We are fighting the mighty three-headed monster of named algorithm. Algorithm is a son of a bitch. So we need your help. If you can tell one friend, tell one coworker, or if you hate this and if you've been hate watching, tell other people to hate watch this, because hate watchers are very loyal and we love you. And with that, this has been the Glacially Musical Podcast. It doesn't play in Peoria.
Is it algorithm because Al Gore invented the internet?
No, it's algorithm.
Algorithm. Okay.
Algorithm.
This can't be the last words we have for this whole year.
Fuck Peoria. Well, no, I actually like Peoria.
God damn it. All right.
I don't know.
See you next year.
Balls.